what I felt most nice was, without any sort of leadership giving people instruction of what to do, people are reacting themselves.
Hindraf, like my dad said, I don't know what's the leaders about, whether they're sincere or not sincere, I don't know. But I'm there to make a point. I'm not happy with what is going on and I want change.
How often do you get, thousands of Indian people in one place, not for a violent cause? Hardly impossible. It never happens, and it happened that day.
And I could see anger, I could see frustration, I could see earnestness. They were sincere and they just wanted to be heard.
As far as the lower class Indians are concerned, their problems are many. So it's just like, whether you are rich Indian or whether you are poor Indian, you are both feeling the heat. Feeling that this injustice has been done unto you, and you want some change.
To the non-Malays in our country, it is so obvious that it is primarily Malays who get all the help, and this has led to feelings of resentment.
In the 8 Malaysia plan, it was shown that the Indian community had 1.5%, and MIC and the government has always been talking about trying to help and alleviate the Indian community again. But has it increased? No, it has actually dropped.
I think for the very first time, the Malaysian Indian case, or the plight of the working class Malaysian Tamils, has reached the ears of the world. I think this is the very first time.
Something that has been building up for a long time, and those of us who are very close to the community, who have been observing incidences and all that, we knew that something like this is going to happen.
I think with this, I came to understand that the estate represented not only community but a whole way of life, and for better or for worse, it encompassed a set of values surrounding the temple, the school, and a sense of cultural links extending from one estate to another was very dense. And within the estate itself, you had marriage and you had festivals occurring throughout the year, and all of this created a very strong attachment to the land. They understand, of course, that development is coming, but it is still all the same psychologically and culturally traumatizing when it ultimately happens.
Firstly, you are talking about plantation displacements. Now here is a very good example of a failure of the state, failure of the government to address the issue. This is not something that happened overnight. This has been going on from the 1980s. The government is fully aware of it, because it is both the federal government and the state governments that actually approve conversion of plantation land to property development. Because these are communities who have been living in a very isolated plantation, isolated lives in a plantation for 3-4 generations. So they only used to that kind of lifestyle, that kind of village lifestyle and all that. So all of a sudden the whole community is a plantation, and these people are forced to go. Naturally they will face, I think this is not just peculiar to Tamil community or the Indians. I think any community in that environment, when they are just thrown off to the urban area, they will face a problem of adjustment, that dislocation and all that. Here, as I said, the state failed to actually resettle them in a very systematic way.
by the time the whole country heard about Hindraf, and even me took notice to start writing columns, I think it was already too late. Too late because the Hindraf leaders and the people who was affected by this whole set of issues had done a lot of work to document and submit that to the government. When I think close to 1,000 people got together in Putrajaya, and I saw it on YouTube. Somebody forwarded the YouTube to me, you know. Thank God for YouTube, because I wouldn't have known.
இந்த ஏமாற்றம் தொடர வேண்டுமா? நாம் தொடர்ந்து அரசாங்கத்தால் ஏமாற்றப்பட வேண்டுமா? நாம் இன்று காலை வந்திருப்பதற்கு காரணம் இந்த நாடு நம்மை புறக்கணித்து உள்ளது. இந்த நாட்டில் நம்மெல்லாம் வந்து மூன்றாம் தர மனிதராக நடத்தப்படுகிறோம் என்ற உணர்வு நம்மிடையே எழுந்துள்ளது.
See, I think this would never have happened when Prime Minister Mahathir was Prime Minister. It happens because the present Prime Minister, Pala, actually created space. He created space and said, work with me. So people trusted him. I'm sure the Hindraf leaders, when they walked to Putrajaya, if they knew that they're going to be in ISA, they wouldn't have marched. But they didn't think he's going to put them in ISA. They believed him. Work with me. So we came, sir, we are going to work with you. We have some serious problems. We submit, I don't know, it's a big document from what I hear. I don't have a copy. But they submitted. They assumed that the Prime Minister or his people will read it. Change can only happen when the environment is supportive of change.
Look at the statistics. You know, Indians make up about 9% of the population of Malaysia. The number of doctors, they make up 40%.
But it's coming down over the years.
Well, it's not coming down. It went up during my time. It never was 40% until I was Prime Minister. I know their main grouse is not with me. His main grouse is with Sami Velu. Because with Sami Velu, they're denying everybody, any Indian, any chance to come up and all.
See, Dr. Mahathir is talking nonsense, because the various Malaysia plans clearly indicate that the percentage of doctors actually dropped from 41% in 1980 to about 27% in, say, 2005. So there is a very clear decline in the percentage of Indian doctors. And then secondly, he is also misleading, because even this 26% or 27% of Indian doctors, majority of them didn't qualify from public universities or on government scholarships. They self-finance their studies, and at the great sacrifice of their parents, you know, where they sold their property or mortgaged their property, they don't eat enough. You know, you can't use these statistics and say Indians are better off. You know, in fact, the parents become poorer after sending the children overseas.
And I had two children who are doing medicine in Moscow MMA. Both of them are eligible for scholarship, not loan. Scholarship, especially my daughter got 8 A1s, not 8 straight A1s. She applied for a loan only. It was rejected. And you wanted to come and say that the number of Indian doctors are all from well-to-do family. And now just tell me how many Indian families are well off in the country. The number of Indian professions in the country are 90% of them are on the parents' contribution. The parents have become poorer, zero. You believe or not, at the age of 50 or 55, 90% of the Indian parents who send their children to overseas for studies, they become zero. They become physically also and mentally also they go wrong.